Hi.
Welcome to TriDex 2017.
Thank you.
So for DarkMatter, how has the last 3 days been?
Well, as usual at GITEX, it's been a crazy show, busy with lots of meetings, lots of visitors, but really wonderful.
So like over the years, how have you seen the response or readiness of the customers towards the security market changing?
Well, I think there's been a lot of great changes. Certainly the emergence of machine learning and AI, a lot of more interest in managed services where people are saying, hey, I can't do this alone. Can you please help me? A lot more interest in compliance with regulations. So we've definitely seen a lot more interest in a broad range of our services this year.
Right. Like 2017, as we all know, has been labeled as a year of transformation, right? People have been talking about various kinds of transformation, right from the go-to-market approaching a customer. So for DarkMatter, what kind of transformation strategies and solutions have you brought to the market?
What we're seeing are organizations are really taking a look at their entire ITC landscape and saying, okay, what do I have that I need to change? For example, I'm on old desktop-based technologies and maybe I need to move to virtual desktops or VDI. They're also saying, what's my mobility and cloud strategy and how do I move in that way securely? And then they're looking at the adversaries. They're looking at all these breaches that we've seen and saying, what can I do to not be the next victim? So how do I do a good job with security analytics and monitoring? And maybe I need to get some help with that. Have a SOC in the box or something like that, as we call it, where they can have security monitoring done and transform that really quickly versus taking 2 to 3 years to do it.
But coming to cybersecurity in particular, okay, and if we talk in wake of all the recent crises which happened, like considering human as the weakest link is a very cliched statement, but quite true, right? So like being DarkMatter, what would be the one recommendation from you towards the companies? Like what should be a basic security mandate?
I think an important recommendation that we make as DarkMatter is you have to assume that you're always going to be breached, and you always have to assume that humans are going to make mistakes. So there's no perfect solution there. And what you have to do is build solutions around those problems. So monitor really carefully, try to get your controls right, patch your systems, but assume that you're going to be breached. And what you want to do is find that breach really quickly and stop it before it becomes a big problem like we've seen in the news.
So the theme of GITEX 2017 has been reimagining reality. So how is DarkMatter reimagining security?
Well, I think the future we see is where there's more automation, where we can have a scorecard that reports on how well you did yesterday in cybersecurity and how well you're doing today and what improvements you see. Where we see smart cities, for example, in the future, where they're more resilient, but we can measure that resilience. And where we see security monitoring that has a lot more automation, as I described to you, and where that automation is filled with machine learning and artificial intelligence, where machines are stopping these threats before they become a problem for us.
So going forward to 2018 as well, like as ID, what would be the top 3 priorities in your mind to position DarkMatter in the security market?
Well, one of the top priorities for me would be to increase the amount of testing that we're doing, whether it's testing of networks and assessments or security teams, giving them the opportunity to play in cyber ranges and up-level their skills and really test in live fire scenarios. So that would be one. Another one is really getting into looking deeply at hardware and software and where are those vulnerabilities and what could be done to stop them. And then, as I mentioned to you earlier, really looking at things like compliance with regulations, compliance with standards that will really help them up-level their situation and make sure they have all those necessary controls in place.
Thank you so much for being with us today. It's a pleasure to have you. We wish you all the best for the next 2 days, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks a lot for your time. I really appreciate it.